Okay, so I think we can go ahead and get started now that it's 12 and we have everyone coming on for the mindset moments today. So thank you to everybody who is tuning in. This is Nikki from the Female Quotient, and today we have a really special guest with us. So yesterday we talked about burnout, and today we have Tosca De Matteo here with us, a breakthrough career coach and a business consultant who's going to talk to us about productivity, finding the calmness in the storm of the constant push and pull, and just being productive and going with it. So please feel free to submit questions at the bottom. And thank you so much, Tosca, for joining us today.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here in this space with all of you. I wrote a poem to start us off with today, just for this occasion. And it's called Permission to Do Nothing. So I'm going to start with this. I get it. It's crazy. All the stuff we must do. And we ask ourselves, if not us, well then who? The list is never ending. The list of the this and the that. And how often do we stop and say to ourselves, girl, this is whack. We are taught that no pain means no gain. But to what end? To acquire such bitter disdain. Those voices are not you that say it's not okay to relax. The voices that say I should and I need to create a trap. The human spirit needs time to just be. For the guidance inside is all that you need. For years, I've been practicing how to do less and less. And I learned with this, I could, in fact, do my very best. Wake up. We've all just been drones. But what we don't realize is we just want to come home, at home with ourselves, understanding who we are, knowing better decisions come if our minds aren't so far from the connection we must make from our heads to our hearts. It is in the stillness and the void that we create our finest art. We were not designed to go round and round the clock. We are not supposed to have all the answers on the spot. I can't tell you that I've mastered this truth, for I definitely have lists and get stressed through the roof. But I have learned that when stopping, my purpose does speak. And not doing does not at all make you weak. In the quest for permission to simply just be, I must say this advice ever so passionately. You do not have to play the game that someone else created. You do not have to be caught in it or passively baited. You can choose to be still, to be calm, and to pause. For listening to your own guidance can never be wrong. Big thanks to the Female Quotient for giving us this time so we could chill and let go and feel our own sunshine. I'll give you some tips I think you ought to know. So just relax, take a big breath, and let it out slow. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share that with you. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this idea of slowing down, relaxing, taking time. Those are often not messages that we get from society, from the people in our lives, to just chill. So it's new for a lot of us. And I'm here to help introduce some ideas around this, because the reality is that you have to want it. You have to want to relax and do things differently, because it's not easy. It's not easy to say, this go, go, go life is I gotta find another way. It's not easy to say, I want to try something different, because we're conditioned to go, go, go. We're conditioned to know, to think that we can just keep going, and that's okay. And that's giving our best. And I'm here to say it's not. So you have to want it. It's a choice. It's a choice to pause. It's a choice to take time for yourself. It's a choice to create boundaries, especially when you may be getting messages that that's not okay. But in my poem, I talk about your own inner guidance. You know what you need. And standing up for what you need is so critical. And it's not easy, but it's really important, especially now when we're dealing with so much stress. And yeah, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to choose to relax, right? And that's the work. That's why I'm saying you kind of have to want it, because it's not going to be comfortable. And an example that I give in my own life is that there's this like 10 a.m. yoga class that I really enjoy. And it's at 10 a.m. on Monday, right? So my brain, I'm conditioned to be like, Monday is when life starts. This is when you get your week going. This is when you're productive. And yet I choose as much as I possibly can to say, no, I'm going to do this 10 a.m. class. I love my teacher. I want to start off my week in this way, not with a flurry of emails. And every time I take that choice, it's still hard. It's still uncomfortable. And sometimes even in that yoga class, I'm like stressing out about all the stuff I have to do. But what I'm doing is I'm training myself to be comfortable with another way of being, another way of finding calm in the storm, so that during the week when things get crazy, or during that day, that there's a stillness that I can come back to, because I know what that felt like, because I started my week with that. So I just reiterate, it's uncomfortable to choose another way of going about life other than productivity. And it's a constant process. It's a constant choice. It's a choice to say, hey, in the shower, I'm just going to take my 2 minutes. And that brings me to the point of, it doesn't have to be a 90-minute yoga. It can just start really, really small, wherever you can. Start in the bed before you get out of it. 30 seconds of stillness. That was probably like 5 seconds of stillness. And even that is okay. Wherever you can find it, start with where you are, start with what you can give yourself. I know there's a lot of moms out there, there's a lot of people in multiple roles, there's a lot of round the clock, but I think there's a few moments in that day that you can start to find, and then you can expand it from there. Any change must start small for it to be successful. And the magic happens in the being. We're taught that things happen in the doing. The more I do, the more output I create, the better my life will be, because I'm creating and I'm doing and I'm showing what I'm worth and I'm showing my value, right? But what I want to introduce to you, if maybe it's new, is focusing on the being as opposed to the doing can reap great rewards, not just in your stress level, but also when you do get to the doing, it's an easier way. And there's actually, I love the sea turtle, right? I love the sea turtle. I have a prop. You guys know these sea turtles, right? Like if you've ever seen one, they are huge and they float in the water. They're just gorgeous. The sun shines on them and they glimmer, and they're not going fast, right? They're there. And they're beautiful because they're just in their own, and they're not worrying about how fast they're getting anywhere. They're just being. That's how I kind of see them. These sea turtles are just being. And so what I'm saying to you is, you don't need to do anything than just be. And practicing more moments of just being without doing can open up a whole new world for you. It's opened up a whole new world for me. I speak from my own experience. I have this dragon. The dragon, to me, it represents my own inner fire, my own knowing. And my ability to make my own choices, despite what society might be telling me I should do or I need to do. And when I give myself time to just be, to be still, I can tap into that inner knowing that I mentioned in the flowetry. So part of what I wanted to share was that there's a lot of stuff out there, right, about, well, what do you want to do in this time? What do you want to do in this time, right? And that creates this like pressure cooker of like, I should be doing. And I offer you a different question, which is, who do you want to be in this time? Do you want to be the sailboat in the ocean that's getting through? Do you want to be caught up in the storm in a frenzy? And even by asking yourself that question first, who do I want to be? That can help guide you to the things that make sense for you to do. And that might be doing nothing. That might be letting your mind wander in a show. That might be getting some exercise and getting out all the feelings and emotions that are building up. So I have some tips here that I'm going to share about how can we practice relaxing. Where can we do that? How can we do that? The first thing I want to say is be intentional. Be intentional with your thoughts. Watch them. And if they're not nice or not kind or they're demanding, add some other thoughts on top of that. If it's like, oh, I should do more emails before I go to bed, add the thought, I'd like to take a bath or whatever. This may sound silly. I know some of this stuff, like you go through the Instagram feed and you see all these like one-liners, right? Like, and I'm saying if these aren't one-liners to me, to me, these are the tools that I've used in my own life. Look, I come from a year of 20 years in corporate America. I know what the grind is. And in the past several years, I have been learning a new way of being, and the magic is phenomenal. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know what that magic feels like, because we don't talk about it. We don't talk about what else is possible when you focus on who you want to be versus what you're doing and what your output is. So be intentional with your thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, what is the thought of the day that you want to guide you? What is the energy that you want to have in the day? Make that choice versus letting the storm kind of dictate that for you. Start your day with how you want to feel. And then start making choices that will open that up for you, that possibility to feel the way you want to feel. Clear the mind. Again, this is like in whatever moments that you can, in the shower, in the bath, deep breaths. I'll never forget, like my first coach, she's phenomenal. And when I was in the corporate, environment, she would tell me to breathe, right? And she would say, put it on your calendar like 3 times a day to just take a few breaths. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that is not going to help me right here, But I'm telling you, I was resistant, right? That's resistance. That's okay. You might be feeling resistance right now in what I'm sharing, and that's okay. And maybe you'll make a choice to try something because that resistance is saying something to you. And I invite you to ask, like, what is that? What is that resistance to this idea of like taking deep breaths? It kind of clears out your monkey mind, that breath. And it's practice. And the more you do it, the more you see the benefits of it. Walk outside, all the stuff you're hearing, right? Like meditating. And really, it's trying new things. It's trying new ways to just be without like doing. And so whatever is like resonating with you today, try it out. We're in this time where we're stuck, we get stuck in our patterns, and now there's kind of like a crack in that. There's like an opening because of everything that we're experiencing. And it's a great opportunity to try new things. I'm imagining a lot of you are already doing that. Keep doing it until you find the thing that allows you to relax, that allows you to create space and find that calmness. You may not find it in the first few things, and that's okay. Don't give up. Be persistent in finding solutions that work for you. Be your own best friend, please. Please. The way we talk to ourselves is not the way we would ever talk to even an enemy sometimes, you know? So in this time when you're trying to find time to relax and you've got these inner critics in your head saying like, no, you should not go to bed. It's too early. You got stuff to do. Be kind to yourself and give yourself other messages about what is okay for you to do. It is okay to do nothing. I give you all permission to do nothing for as long as you possibly want. So I'll leave you with this idea of do 5% less. Whatever you're doing, try to do 5% less and see that where that gets you in your effort to relax more.
Thank you so much, Tosca. That was amazing. I'll definitely take the advice from you to do less right now. I could use a little day to myself. But I just wanted to come back on because it looks like we have 2 questions that some attendees had submitted. So we can go ahead and do that if we have a few more minutes. I can run through them with you.
Sure, yeah.
So the first question is, what is your best advice for balancing productivity every single day and staying consistent with it?
You know, I ask a question back to that, which is, what is important about consistent productivity? Starting with that assumption, I would question, get into that. Why is that really important? And I would say that in these times, that expectation of consistent productivity it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic in a normal life. And right now, with everything we're experiencing, our bodies, our minds, that expectation, that's what's creating a lot of stress. So I say, like, ask yourself where that comes from. And also, I don't want to just avoid that. I think that some of the tools that I mentioned, right, centering yourself and starting your day with taking some breaths, that will help you with productivity. At the end of the day, that's what these tools are for. It's not about do nothing and like don't get anything done. That's not my message. My message is do less so that when you choose to do, you are more effective and more productive in it because it comes from a place of calm versus a place of like frenzy.
Mm-hmm. And then the next question is, even when you say you're going to be still, how do you turn off your mind and all the voices in your head?
Oh man, $1 million question.
Exactly. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and like I think there's masters of meditation and they still struggle. Like, and I certainly personally, I've been doing those practices for several years now, and yeah, it's a practice. That's why it's called a practice, because and it's not about stopping. It's not meditation, don't quote me on this, but my perspective is it's not about stopping thoughts from coming. It's about letting them pass. Right? It's about seeing them and not getting hooked on it, and letting your mind clear it, and letting your mind clear it, and letting your mind clear it. And eventually maybe those thoughts will come through less and less. They will be less frequent, but they're never gonna stop. So this goes back to like, be kind to yourself. It's a practice. You'll get better at it. It's really hard at first. That's why I say start with a minute meditation. Keep moving the needle. And eventually you'll be in an hour. I guarantee it.
I love it. So thank you so much. I think to wrap off, I know we had a few comments here in the chat about how to reach out to you for any, some extra coaching. So let us know how we can all find you.
Yeah, sure. You can find me at coachtosca.com. You can also email me at coachtosca@gmail.com. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. And yeah, again, just so grateful to be in everyone's presence.
Thank you so much, Tosca, for joining us today, and to everybody who tuned in for our Mindset Moment. I hope you all continue to stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome.